Good morning. Good morning, my caffeine friends. Today, I have some amazing, wonderful news that I'm finally able to share with you guys. Starting tomorrow, starting next week, and then for the foreseeable future, Tezpresso will be taking over managing the cafe inside of the Toyota Cedar Park dealership. If you haven't been up there, it's this ginormous space run by some amazing people, and they have this gorgeous little cafe in there, and they needed some help. So I said, sure, you know what? I'm gonna come help. I haven't been out in the wild doing anything. I've been stuck at home staring into this camera screen for the past 2 years, talking to myself. And I promised myself that I would never again get into brick and mortar, but here we are. So I'm really excited. I'm honored and privileged to have been chosen for this, and I'm looking forward to it. So if you are in the Cedar Park area, it's gonna be kind of weird, but yeah, go up to the Toyota dealership, walk around, grab some coffee, and if you're shopping for a car, you can do that too. So there's the big news right off the bat. Just gonna lay it out there, tell you what's up, and that I'm super excited about it. Thing is, anything like this cannot be done alone. Like, I can sit here and talk to myself all day long by myself and figure out all of this messy live stream nonsense alone. I can do that alone. That's fine. What I can't do alone is run a coffee shop. So I am actually looking for people to hire. If you know anybody who is an experienced barista or is interested in becoming a barista, hit me up. I think in the description below there's an email address. It's info@tezpresso.com. I'm not looking for resumes. You don't really need a resume to become a barista. All you need are a couple of things, mostly just that you like people, you care about people, and you're good at serving people. Everything else I can train you on, but if you have that attitude where you're like, I'm willing and able to talk to people and engage with people and make their day just a little bit better by providing them with the caffeine necessary to be productive. If you have any of that, that's all I need. That's all you need to work in a cafe. Everything else I can teach you. And so kind of the next couple of weeks when I do these live streams, my mind is going to be in that place of like getting back to training, volume centric, like pumping out drinks, doing that sort of training. So if I start talking about that, call me out on it, because that's not what this live stream is about. I'm not training real baristas, professional baristas on this live stream. On this live stream, I'm training you how to just really dig in and improve your coffee. So with that, without further ado, let's jump into talking about the May featured coffee. I'll do some Vanna White here. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, so this is one of my favorite packaging designs ever. These guys have some amazing art, and they back it up. They back up their form with function. There's a lot of substance to the roasting that goes on over at SUPERTHING, and within the next couple of weeks, we haven't set a final date yet, but I'm really looking forward to getting Kyle, one of the owners and head roasters, on call. We'll chat with him about his approach and how they source their coffee and where they get it from, all that jazz. Which I love that. So I'm really looking forward to that. This particular coffee that we will be shipping out this next week is a Peruvian coffee. And let's see, we've got a bunch of different varieties. It is a washed. The varietals that we have included in this coffee are Typica, Caturra, Pache, Mondanovo. Mondanovo, by the way, fun little fact, it's got the highest caffeine content of any varietal. Bourbon, Catuai, and Catamor. I'm not super familiar with Apache or the Catamor, but Typica, Caturra, Bourbon, and Catuai are all very familiar varietals that you run across quite a bit. Another thing that I like about these guys, let me show this off one more time, show the back there, is that they have fun. They know how to have fun with their branding design, and making the coffee, but and I'm sure that Kyle will get into this when we jump on the call with him, but every one of their flavor descriptors, how they talk about their flavors, is kind of like solar system based. So they talk about like the rotation of planets, and like, so this one is solar flare of caramel, chocolate concha, and apple streusel, which I think is fun. And then they have these, funny little creatures, funny little monsters. It just makes me really happy, this kind of design stuff. So, let's make some coffee, shall we? Oh, wait, no. Before we read the coffee, I am going to get on my best narrator voice. Go ahead and read you a description. Again, you'll be getting this card. I don't want to give away too much because we're playing that scratch-off game still. In Peru, the bulk of production comes from small farms owned and managed by indigenous people who follow organic farm management practice attuned to their cultural connection with the land. Producers typically cultivate coffee on just a few acres of land, intercropped with shade trees, bananas, corn, and beans. They carefully harvest and sort cherries before depulping, fermenting, washing, and drying the coffee using their own micro-mills. Simultaneously, cooperatives carry out activities that often go unnoticed, but are crucial for small producers. Environmental training programs, healthcare initiatives, life insurance, and educational opportunities are just some of the ways these cooperatives strive to improve the quality of life for coffee producers and their families. So, obviously, Kyle and his team have done enough research about this particular co-op that they say, hey, you know what? This not only is this coffee amazing, but these guys are also doing good work in the industry and supporting their farmers. This is a company, or this is a farm and company and co-op that we as SUPERTHING can get behind. And that makes it easier for me as Tezpresso to support. We haven't talked a whole lot about the production streamline, the production logistics line, transparency issues that exist in the coffee industry, mostly because I'm not super knowledgeable about them. I am several degrees removed from them, but I do know that a lot of farms treat their workers like crap and are mostly focused on the bottom line. It's all about quantity over quality. And so finding those that do take the quality of life for their workers incredibly seriously is difficult and important. It's more important than the quality of coffee itself. So finding one that merges those two and is able to provide quality coffee and prove that they have sustainable practices, and it just makes life so much easier when you as the consumer at the end of it are not taking advantage of everybody else along the line. And you can rest easy knowing that you're drinking quality coffee and helping the lives of others. So let's get into actually brewing some coffee. And today we're going to be doing the beautiful Origami Dripper. So I realized that I bought some of these, and before I could even get them on my website, we sold out of them. They are gorgeous. I love them. And I also looked, and every other website, it's my dog walking around. Hey, Choopy. Every other website that sells these is sold out right now. And they're selling them for like triple the price, double the price of what I sell them for. If you're interested, mention it in the comments below, and I will make sure to tag you, or at least let you know when we get our next shipment in. I love them. They are ceramic, which has a couple of downsides, some cons to ceramic, mostly that it's a heat sink for using water, but if you just use a little bit of extra hot water, it's not an issue. All right, brewing some coffee. How are you, by the way? Have you had enough coffee today? Have you had any coffee today? I've had 1 cup, which is already getting me excited and jittery, but I'm ready for some more. Okay, so we're gonna grind up 30 grams of coffee. Once you've got your coffee in your amazing little basket case, we haven't sold out of these. We still have plenty of these left. Go to the website, check it out. Buy one if you don't have one already. These are phenomenal. I'm gonna shake it up. Get all those fines out. Oh, it's just like this wave of chocolate. You know, chocolate is like a common flavor note that you see in coffees for relatively obvious reasons. But when it hits you, it hits you. When it's like a punch in the face chocolate. All right. Before we dump that in, we're going to warm up all of our equipment and rinse out the paper filter. With near boiling water today, I'm using 88 degrees Celsius. I'm really bad at converting to Fahrenheit. I'm like stuck in the middle of metric and standard systems. So I do temperatures, I do in Celsius these days. I don't understand Fahrenheit temperatures anymore. Distances, I do in standard, I do miles. Speeds, I do in miles. Like measurements I can do both relatively well. Like I have like a, where you have like a conceptual grasp of what something might mean. So like 3 centimeters means something to me. And if I had to like guess without doing any math, that'd be like 1.5 inches. I have no idea. Never mind. I'm just really bad with measurements. Let's go with that. All right. So I weighed out, prior to starting the show, I weighed out 31 grams of whole bean coffee. I ground it up, and I'm hoping, we're going to find out in a second, I'm hoping that there's only 1 gram of fines and retention in the grinder so that we end up with an actual 30 grams in our pour. Let's see. Ooh, perfect. 30.3 grams. All right, so then another great thing about the origami is that it comes in these 2 pieces. And so you can lift this one out you can lift the top one out so that you can give it a couple of shakes to level the bed. I mean, that's true of all V60 style brewers. So I'm gonna level that out. I'm gonna tear out the scale, make sure that everything's good. And here we go. We're gonna do our bloom. We're gonna go up to 45 to 60 grams of water because we put 30 grams in. So we're doing roughly 1.5 to 2 times that amount for the bloom. Let's go ahead and do that. Make sure to get everything wet. That is the main goal with the bloom. All right, we got 50 grams. And of course, don't forget, smell your coffee at this point. All right, I'm gonna wait 30 seconds and I'm gonna poke over. Oh, okay. Hey Christian, what's going on? I see you in the comments. Good to see you. Sadly, I've had none yet. That means I asked a question and totally forgot you answered it. I don't know what that means anymore. All right, we're gonna start the pour, and let's see. We're gonna do a 1:12 ratio today. I imagine that this coffee needs a slightly weaker ratio, so maybe tomorrow I'll play around with it again and go to a 1:13 or a 1:14. But I'm gonna start with a 1:12, which means 300, 360. So I'm gonna go up to 360 grams. We're gonna go pretty slow. I ground this coffee a little bit coarser than I usually do, so I'm gonna pour slower so that that extraction time maintains at roughly the same pace. You'll also notice that my decent espresso machine is not here today. It's because it is over in the new cafe. They have, we're switching out some of their espresso equipment, and the decent, because it is, I mean, it's a prosumer model, it's actually really terrible at production, just because it can't make coffees back to back super fast, because it can't steam milk and it can't pull shots and steam milk at the same time, which is a bottleneck for high volume cafes. So we're switching out and installing a new espresso machine, but in the meantime, we're going to be using that one because it has a water tank and doesn't need to be plumbed in. So it will be out of my home for the next couple of days. All right, so I did all that in a single pour. Sometimes I think I've talked about this before, where I'll do a 2-pour. Rarely will I do a 3-pour system, but sometimes I do. For 30 grams, usually I'll do a 2-pour, but today we're doing a single pour. So we're going all the way up from the bloom, all the way up to the target weight of 360. Also because it's a strong ratio, it's a low ratio. But you do want to swirl it around as the drawdown is happening so that you can get that level bed and everything can be extracted evenly. Oh yeah, don't forget to smell it the entire time. All right, so this is a request that I've been getting from a couple of people. So I'm going to try to do it. I don't have my overhead camera set up. It's actually fallen on the ground right now because I was trying to do some funky stuff the other day. But I'm going to try to show you what the bed looks like when I've finished pouring. Let's see if I can make sure not to burn myself. Okay, can you see that okay? A bit closer. All right, so what you're seeing there is the flat bed. Which is common, aiming for a flat bed at the end is a common measure stick. It's a common measurement for the quality of brew in more modern brewing techniques. When I first started doing pour-overs, it was the exact opposite. You wanted a cone-like bed, so it was raised on all the sides and then funneled down into the corner. So basically, if all of the paper had coffee on it, that was seen as a good sign. And that has since been disproven by people way smarter than me, but I trust them. At the same time, I like testing that out and brewing with the old Japanese method, which is a very slow central pour, not hitting the edges so that you get that cone-like shape, versus the more modern, I actually don't even know who to attribute to. Maybe Scott Rao, maybe James Hoffman with the flatbed method. I'm sure there was some competitive barista beforehand, and those two were the ones who dug in and brought it to the masses and took it further. All right. Let's go ahead and try this. And also, as a reminder, I was doing some barista training over at the cafe the other day, and I had to remind people that when you're trying coffee, when you're playing around with it, make sure to let it cool down. Try it right after you brew it. Try it 3 minutes later. Try it 3 minutes after that. Keep doing it at 3-minute intervals, and you should be experiencing a completely different flavor profile, because how your taste buds react to different temperatures and how the compounds develop as temperatures changes influences how you experience that whole taste too. And of course, do the whole like that is so different. So different from our last several months of coffee. This is really good. So this is one of the chewier coffees that we've had recently. One of the more heavy-bodied coffees. It like sinks in that taste. You're just like, relaxing. All right, I'm going to continue to enjoy this coffee. Not going to go too far down the flavor profile tasting notes yet. We'll do that in the coming weeks. Again, if you are a barista, or you know a barista, or you know somebody who's interested in becoming a barista, or somebody who's just great at customer service and wants to go hang out with a bunch of chill people, send them my way. I'm hiring. We've got a cafe to run, and I need help. Thank you. Stay caffeinated.